But what are we doing? We're trying to get transparency on what happened to our baby, Miss Jones. It is so sad that we have to stand here today fighting for our children when youth villages should have been there trying to protect Miss Jones. But what did they do? Mr. Crump is going to tell you exactly what has happened. And I just want to say we welcome you. We thank you. The NAACP, we stand with this family and all families that Mr. Crump is representing here in our city for youth villages. I just want to say thank you so much for coming, and we appreciate the media, and we just want to make sure that you get what is really going on here in our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to NAACP Executive Director Vicki Terry, and she's right, this should be a joyous time, but it's not a joyous time for the family of Legend Jones. I'm present here with my co-counsel, an institution here in Memphis, a great jurist and advocate for our community, that is Judge Ernestine Doyce. And also, I'm present here with the family of Erica Brown, whose son was raped in Youth Village and contracted HIV from that rape. And she's standing in solidarity with the family of Legend Jones. And needless to say, yet again, Ms. Shona Gardner-White and Jermaine White, the parents of Legend Jones, are here fighting for truth, transparency, and justice. And you'll hear from Shona in a little while, but we thought it important to continue every time we get information to share it with the public, because this should not be that difficult to get to the truth. They act like this cause of death is such a mystery. It's no mystery. You villagers know what happened to her. That's right. They got the video.
That's right. Yeah.
They saw it day one. Yeah. So if they want to just shut everybody up, show the video.
That's right.
They can Judge Doris and Ben Crump, Kareem Ali, NAACP. Everybody can be quiet because we can see the video and see for ourselves what happened to this child.
That's right.
But they won't release the video, President Moore, and that's telling. That's telling. I'm very thankful to Kareem and Cassio and all, Tammy, all the other activists who are demanding that the district attorney and the law enforcement release the video. That's what videos are for. We're talking about transparency.
That's right. Yeah.
But yet here we are, Ms. Gardner, we are having to try to jump through hoop after hoop to get to the truth. But it doesn't matter how long it takes, no matter how much they try not to be transparent, we will get to the truth of what happened to your child. And I know you want this to be a legacy-defining dynamic for your child, because we can't bring a legend back. But what we're trying to do is make sure it don't happen to any of these other thousands of children that are in the custody and care of Youth Village. Because Judge Doris, as we have learned, there's supposed to be a special entity that care for at-risk youth. Well, we don't want them to do the kind of care they gave to Legend Jones to any other child. We have to fight for our black children. Everybody keeps trying to say, you know, why is this such a big deal? They keep trying to sweep it under the rug. Well, it is a big deal. It's a big deal to not only Miss Gardner, it's a big deal to our community, and I pray it's a big deal to everybody in Memphis, everybody in Tennessee. This was a child. This was a child who died. And if you believe what these witnesses say, that they told Miss Gardner, her child was assaulted and battered and choked.
That's right.
And it seems as these medical records that Miss Gardner was able to obtain corroborates what the witnesses told her. We have these medical records that are from the hospital, and it talks about, it talks about the causes, the diagnosis, and obviously it says her name, it says her age, 17 years old. It talks about the date, November 22nd, 2023. Obviously, discharge, disposition, deceased. But what is of particular importance is the diagnosis codes. And those codes, the first diagnosis is compression of the brain. That's quite significant. It talks about other findings. But then it gets, after they talk about brain death, it talks about rhabdomyolysis. That's significant because what it talks about, and go ahead there, we'll just hold it. What it talks about, and it's quite significant, it says rhabdomyolysis is a rare condition in which muscle cells break down and release a substance into the blood that can lead to kidney failure. Most often, it's seen in people who have suffered major injuries or trauma. Now, it talks about myelofibrosis may also develop in response to certain medications, dietary supplements, or drugs. In some cases, rhabdomyolysis may affect athletes such as weightlifters and marathon runners. And so we know that she wasn't a marathon runner or anything like that. And when you look at what is most practical, what caused this rhabdomyolysis, you stop, Judge Doris, that most often it is seen in people who have suffered major injuries or trauma.
That's right.
And so the video will show us what happened. Everybody will be able to make logical conclusions based on the diagnosis and the video. That will answer all the questions. They talk about the acute kidney failure with the tubular necrosis. What's significant about that? You see that the Mayo Clinic's definition talking about the root causes of rhabdomyolysis. And then they talk about this cerebral edema, the swelling. They talk, and this is interesting because it says non-traumatic substance hemorrhaging. What did they tell the doctors happened to alleged? That's going to be significant because if they were not truthful in telling the doctors what happened to a legend, then they could have prevented the doctors from possibly saving her life. Because the chief complaint, thank you, Mr. Ale, the chief complaint was transferred from youth villages in cardiac arrest. Unknown history. Did they know what they had done? You know, those things are going to be significant. And that's what we got to find out. That's what we mean when we talk about transparency. You know, we know what they told Miss Gardner, the witness who said they saw what happened to a legend. We know what they told her about when she was at the health department, about how she was asked to take off her clothes in front of male counselors. And I'm sure it wouldn't surprise anybody. We have other youth, right, Mr. Ali, who have come forward. Females, girls, who said that they were forced to take off clothes in front of male counselors at Youth Village. So I don't want them to say, oh, this is crazy that they would even dare say we would ask a young girl to take off her clothes in front of male counselors, because there are other girls who have said it. We're not going to go away until we get to the truth. We think that it's important to keep reminding everybody that there's a video that will show us what happened to Legend Jones. And we're going to keep coming back. And we're not going to let them sweep it under the rug. We refuse to let them sweep it under the rug. I have an 11-year-old little black girl. These things are personal to us.
Right.
Say no more. Release the video.
Yeah, say no more, just show the video. Some people couldn't fathom this happening to their children.
Most people can't.
A lot of people in the black community, it's a harsh reality that we live with every day, that our child might be the next hashtag. When our children are killed in these unbelievable, tragic ways, we have an obligation to speak up about them, to stand up for them, to fight for them. And that's what we're doing, Youth Village, for Legend Jones.
That's right.
You all can do the right thing. You all can do the right thing. Let's help Ms. Gardner to find the legacy so it can make you a better institution.
That's right.
The ball is in your court. Be transparent. Let's do the right thing by a legend, because these medical records speak to the truth. Compression of the brain, rhabdomyolysis, brain dead. Y'all heard her painstakingly talk about how much time had elapsed when she got to the hospital and how the doctors told her. But she better than anybody else. And Ms. Gardner and I in our office have talked about this so many times. It's amazing to me how in such vivid detail she remembers everything. Every aspect of everything that everybody has told her, every email, text, social media post, she remembers everything as only a parent would. If this was your child, you will remember everything too. Right? And you are not alone. Shauna, we are fighting with you, we're standing with you, and we're going to keep being with you and Jermaine and your family. At this time, you're going to hear from Miss Shauna Gardner-White, and then we will try to take some of your questions. And remember, this is very emotional.
My name is Shauna Gardner-White. I'm a Legend Jones mother. If the shoe was on the other foot, if a legend was at my house and she came in the hospital like this, I'll be sitting in jail. I'll be fighting from a jail cell. My innocence. I don't understand why Youth Village is not being held accountable. I know it's a staff member that sent me a 3-page letter when she was there, when my daughter was gasping for air for 27 minutes. I wish she'd come forward, but if she don't, I got your voice. I recorded you. I just want justice for my child. It's not fair. All she had was asthma. Asthma don't cause bleeding on the brain, bruises on your body.
No.
I have asthma. I know what it does. I know what the doctors told me. When I got there, they was like, there's nothing we can do. Saturday, we're going to do one last test, and then we'll let you know. If Youth Village don't be held accountable, then we fail. We failed as a society. Youth Village is paying all people, making them sign NDAs. As soon as the kids turn 18, they paying them. They can't say nothing.
That's right.
They parents got to speak. If our kids don't have, if they can't be protected, then what are we doing as a society?
That's right.
I don't have the authority to hide behind money in Youth Village.
That's right.
I'm trying to fight to get justice for my child. That's all. That's all I want. Justice for my child. She didn't deserve this. She would have been home in 10 months. And that's all I ask. That's all I ask. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will, well, before we let them ask questions, she told me she didn't need to see these medical records. She knew that they had killed their child. And I thought that was deep. She said, because Attorney Crump, I looked at my child in our hospital, and I knew they had did something bad to her. That was where she said, we went through the medical records, but she continued to say, I didn't need to see these medical records to know that they caused my child to be brain dead.
They murdered her.
Yeah. So, if you have any questions, we will try to answer them for you.
Mr. Crump, you mentioned multiple times about witnesses seeing what happened to alleged Jones. Who are these witnesses? Are they employees from Youth Villages, employees from the health department?
Multiple, as I understand it, and they've been reaching out to the family, and they've talked to the mother because they said that they are very sad and disappointed that her child had to die like this. And so she relayed to you all what the witnesses have conveyed to her, both at the health department and at Youth Villages. And so, it's funny. It's funny, Judge Doyle. Actually, it's quite sad.
Right.
We don't have to depend on witnesses.
That's right.
We got video.
That's right. Video.
We got video.
Release the video.
This ain't nothing hard to figure out. Show the video.
That's right.
Show what the counselor's interactions were with this child, and you pair with the medical records, and you will know absolutely what caused her death. Absolutely. And so, again, we don't need to say no more. Just show the video.
Attorney Crump, earlier when we were here last week, you had introduced us to children who...
I'm sorry?
Last week, during the previous press conference, you brought forward two siblings. They had also had several claims that Youth Villages abused them. Have any more people come forward since then? You had talked about some girls saying that they had to undress in front of some male counselors.
Yes.
Could you elaborate?
Yes, several of them have come forward. Obviously, the Christmas holidays, and so they are not here. Some of them are not here in the Memphis area, but I think Kareem, Judge Doris, our office have gotten dozens of calls from young people who are saying, no, I was assaulted and battered too at Youth Villages. And so hopefully the video will be released and it will tell us a lot what we don't know, because we will see it with our own eyes.
That's right.
And then Youth Villages needs to act, but if they don't, the city leaders,
That's right.
the state leaders,
That's right.
who have contracted with these facilities need to act. Child Protection Services, the district attorney, our elected leaders who say they represent the community, all in the community, black, white, and brown. They need to act. they should do everything they can for Legend Jones,
That's right.
this little black girl.
That's right.
It was the future of other.
Yes, ma'am, Sean.
We went to the Barlett Police Department last Thursday, and I'm not gonna say her name, but I talked to a sergeant, and she said that she's been doing child homicide for many, many years. And I asked her about the video, and she said, "Shauna, you don't want to see this video." She said, "I'm a mother.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch all this video."
Yes.
And I said, "Is it that bad?" And she hugged me, and we both cried, and she said, "It's just that bad."
Yes.
As a mother, I probably don't want to see the video, but as a human, I have to know what happened to my child. Because this police or this sergeant is telling me I don't want to see this video, and she couldn't watch all of it because she couldn't take that home with her. As me being a Legend Jones mother, how y'all think I feel?
Show the video.
And
Show
she
the
said
video.
that. She said it. I'm not gonna say her name, but she said it.
Show the video.
Thank you, Sean. A couple more questions. This is very emotional. Yes, ma'am.
What conversations, if any, have you had recently with the district attorney about this? Where does that stand?
Steve Morrow has been a champion of transparency,
That's right.
and so we hope that he will continue to be transparent because it lends a great degree of trust with the community, especially the black community, where we get to see what happened. So many times, black people in America would say we were brutalized, and nobody would believe us. They would always believe the authorities.
That's right.
But because of technology, we now have video.
Yes.
And,
Release the
and Steve Morrow,
Yeah.
like many other courageous, great district attorneys have said, I'm going to be transparent with the community. We're going to let the chips fall where they may. And that's something that we haven't often seen in the black community, where people are transparent and say, this is the video. If there were crimes committed, we hold people accountable for crimes. It doesn't matter if the victim was black or white or brown. We want equal justice under the law. And so I thank Steve Morrow's office for being defenders for equal justice for the community. And I pray that he would do the same in this situation.
Sure.
Last question.
We received a statement, the recent one we received from Youth Villages, basically denying any wrongdoing. So what do you want to say to them after seeing these medical reports? And I know you also said that you want to work with them to make a better organization. What do you want to see moving forward?
Well, you want to, I'll take the last part first. You want to work with institutions and authorities to try to define a legacy of a life that was taken far too soon. You want to work with them to say, let's make sure the legacy of Legend Jones is that we will lose no other children
That's right.
while in the care and custody of the Youth Village. Now, I've heard this statement because the media always say we gotta have both sides, and it's always funny when it's alleged that they did something wrong, you want both sides, but when it's a black person accused of something, normally we don't get both sides.
Yeah.
If we just been speaking truth to power. But with this incident, they said that we did everything appropriately. That doesn't say very much.
Lies.
That doesn't say very much. What I would want Youth Village to do is to think of a Legend Jones as if she was their child.
That hard.
The executives and the leaders and the owners of Youth Village, as they sit at home with their families during the Christmas holiday and they get to hug their children, think about Shauna
That's right.
and her child. Whatever you would want done for your child, but that's what Shauna wants you to do for her child. And you can do it, Youth Village. You can help transform a tragedy into a triumph, to say that this won't happen again on your watch. we can try to work together to give a legacy to a young lady who was a bright spot for her mother and her family. Or you can try to continue to deny and sweep it under the rug and hope that we just go away and hope that people just stop caring about this little young black girl. But I'm here to tell you, I will not stop fighting with this family and our team and this community until we get the truth for Legend Jones, till we get accountability for Legend Jones, until we get justice for Legend Jones.
Justice for a legend.
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 Thank you all. Pray for Shauna and all the families who've lost loved ones this Christmas holiday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
On November 29, 2023, an article was written by Lucas Finton on Allegend Jones, explaining on what allegedly happened to her in more detail, and it reads, "Teen was assaulted by Youth Village's staff, family and lawyer say nonprofit denies claims. A 17-year-old girl was body slammed by 2 male counselors from Youth Villages after she refused to strip in front of them during an appointment at the Shelby County Health Department. That teenager, Allegend Jones, had spent the last 2 months in the care of Youth Villages after her mother asked the Department of Children's Services to take guardianship over Jones, though the mother would continue to have custody to help with Jones's mental health struggles. Garner White retained notable civil rights attorney Ben Crump Tuesday, and he called a Wednesday afternoon press conference at Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church. Crump has now been retained by clients for 6 separate incidents in Shelby County. Jones's death was first reported in mid-November in what Youth Villages described as an incident and medical emergency in a press release. In that release, Youth Villages said it did not know the cause of the medical emergency and denied that any abuses took place. Due to confidentiality laws involving children who receive mental and behavioral health care, we cannot discuss individual cases or health issues related to youth receiving help in our programs, Youth Villages said. However, we can confirm that many of the statements and comments circulating on social media now are false. Specifically, there were no abusive or otherwise inappropriate interactions directed toward the young person. Youth Villages is a nonprofit that opened its doors in Memphis to help youth with the most severe mental, emotional, and behavioral challenges at its residential care centers. We are deeply saddened by this tragic event and loss of a child, Youth Villages said in its press release. Our thoughts are with the family in this difficult time. According to Crump, Jones was brought to the Shelby County Health Department for an appointment. The 2 male counselors who accompanied her from Youth Villages were in the room when Jones was told to strip. Crump said she refused and the 2 men body slammed her. Garner White said Jones had been sexually assaulted as a child, and the trauma from that likely played into her refusal to take her clothes off in front of other men. That sexual assault was part of Jones's diagnosis for post-traumatic stress disorder, manic depression, and bipolar disorder, her mother said. Youth Villages, in a statement responding to Crump and Garner Jones' allegations, said the 2 staff members that accompanied Jones to the health department were women. Medical personnel, Crump added, called the police about the incident at the health department, and Jones was later taken back to a Youth Villages campus. When she got back, he said that was when counselors hit her again. It is alleged that over a dozen counselors at Youth Villages assaulted and battered this teenage child, Crump said Wednesday. We don't know if there's video that captured the interactions between the counselors, who were supposed to be trained to deal with troubled youth, and the teenager, shown as Baby. But what we do know is whatever transpired ended up with the neurologist telling Shona that they believe the cause of death is that she died from a brain bleed. Youth Villages, in that same response to the allegations, also strongly denied the allegation that there were 12 staff members who beat Jones or took any abusive action towards her after the trip to the health department. Garner White said she has not spoken with anyone from Youth Villages since they told her Jones was dead. I reached out to Youth Villages to see if I can get my daughter's belongings. No answer, she said. At least give me my baby's belongings. She has her daddy's necklace. Her daddy committed suicide, and Allergen took that very hard. I want to bury that in my daughter's casket. Just give me my baby's belongings on top of the truth. The Tennessee Department of Children's Services confirmed that they are engaged in an investigation into Jones's death. The Department of Children's Services is saddened any time there is loss of life involving a youth, DCS said in an email statement. We can confirm an investigation has commenced, and we are working alongside our law enforcement partners on this case. According to Garner White, Jones had been at youth villages for just over 2 months when she died. Pictures that flanked the family and activists at the press conference Wednesday showed pictures of Jones prior to being hospitalized and during her hospitalization. Jones's face appeared to be swollen, and she was intubated in the hospital images. Jones was placed on life support, but doctors proclaimed her as brain dead, and Garner White had to pull the plug eventually. I said, "What are y'all doing with her?" The doctors said, "We are doing all the tests to make sure that there's no coming back from this, so when you pull that plug, nobody can say you jumped the gun," she said. That's why she was on the ventilator for so long. I wasn't ready to pull the plug. But when I seen her brain coming out of her eyes, I said it's time for my baby to go. That's the type of death a mother should never have to go through. Jones was born in Marion, Illinois, about 2 months early, Garner White said. She would be released from the hospital after about 2 weeks of being on an incubator, during which Garner White said her daughter fought to live and became a vibrant person. Jones was Garner White's 6th child out of 12, and she was like the mama bear with her siblings. She liked to dance. She liked music, especially NBA YoungBoy. Jones and Garner White bonded over their shared love of food and eating. In about 10 months, Garner White said, Jones was slated to go into independent living and wanted to become a nurse. She was my child. She was my baby, Garner White said. At the end of the day, I don't care when people say she may have been a hellion. She was my hellion, and she deserved to give me grandkids. She deserved to go to nursing school and become what she wanted to when she got robbed of it. Lucas Finton is a criminal justice reporter with the Memphis Commercial Appeal. He can be reached at lucas.finton@commercialappeal.com and followed on Twitter at lucasfinton. I pray the family get justice for what happened to Allergen Jones, and may she rest in peace.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Until next time, be safe.